A 7,000-year-old temple structure in central Mexico that's been used by indigenous people even to this day has been defaced recently. Over 12 altars and sites that were used for offerings for deities have been smashed and destroyed. And this was all done allegedly by Jehovah's Witnesses from a neighboring city. The place is called Maconica. It's a temple that's in a jungle interior. It's not easily accessible, but it is something that, as I mentioned, is still being used. It's being used for offerings. It's being used for weddings, baptisms even, in the strange kind of syncretic religiosity of Mexico currently. But what happened was apparently some Jehovah's Witnesses from the neighboring city of El Pinal, they visited and are said to have admitted destroying these kinds of altars. We see an image right there. There's not many images of this temple because, as I said, it's out of the way. It's also not directly administered or protected by the Mexican government. So what happens, Elliot, it's a strange kind of confluence of the past and the present, spirituality, so that the local kind of tribal groups administer the temple themselves. And consequently, they don't really protect it with all diligence.
Right. Well, they wouldn't necessarily expect to have to protect it against Jehovah's Witnesses. They would think that there would be some kind of mutual respect between religions, and certainly you wouldn't expect, even if there were not necessarily mutual respect, they would certainly just want to, you would assume they would leave them alone. And even if they weren't going to leave them alone, you wouldn't expect the Jehovah's Witnesses, I mean, they're the Watchtower guys, right? You wouldn't expect the Watchtower sellers to then turn up and just completely trash the place and then quite open-handedly say, yeah, we trashed it because we didn't like it because it wasn't in the Bible. Well, guess what? There's a whole bunch of stuff that's not in the Bible. Don't go around destroying things 7,000 years old. I mean, I get apoplectic with this. This is your rationale. It wasn't in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, it's frankly, it's a lot like Palmyra, you know, or I mean, this is older than Palmyra, you know, this is older than the statues of the Buddha that were destroyed by the Taliban when they took power in in Afghanistan.
And now we criticize, the Western media, the mainstream media will quite rightly criticize, heavily criticize so-called Islamic State for going around and destroying 1,000-year-old temples. This is no different.
No,
this is absolutely no different whatsoever.
It's no different. And to be fair, the hierarchy of the Jehovah's Witnesses in the area said, whoa, we don't admit that we did this. We don't accept that this was done. We don't, you know, they're not claiming ownership for it. But there is an account of actual individuals who are said to have possibly been newish converts towards Jehovah's Witness. And they have reportedly said, oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, that was us. We did good, right? No, you did not do good. You completely fucked up because this is a 7,000-year-old treasure of humanity that has actually managed to still be there and still be utilized spiritually, which is like a grain of, it's like finding a grain of sand in a mountain of shit when you look at the destruction of the indigenous, of the Mexican conquest by, you know, the Christians over many centuries already. But this is something that actually survived, only to, you know, make it to 2016 and have some overzealous, you know, supposedly Jehovah's Witnesses decide that, no, that looks satanic to us. So what did they do? They destroyed it the best that they could.